welcome back with Talking with Clyde. So on my introduction video I said I was going to talk about my very first time in China. And I cannot talk about that without talking about the flight to China. Now I believe my flight to China was roughly 15 to 16 hours. And when I mean 15-16 hours, I mean the state I was in going to Shanghai, China. And that was a very long flight. At first, it wasn't bad, but then as it dragged on and it was getting to the 12, 13, 14 hours point, I was just thinking, I never want to fly again. And then finally, I landed in China and I was so happy. So, I finally arrived to China after that very long plane ride. And to my surprise, in Shanghai, there was a lot of English. And I could use that English to get to customs there, which I need to be next. And I finally got to the customs officer, and then the officer asked me a specific question: where will I be staying? And I'm thinking, oh shoot, I don't know. So I could not answer the question, so eventually I gave him all of my paperwork and all the files for the job I was going to be working for China. And the officer, shook his head at me, found what he could use, and just accepted me, and I made it through customs. And I made it through after customs. I just picked a big sigh of relief, and then it was time to talk to my contact. So it was time to reach my contact, and then I had no service. And this is when I discovered that when you go overseas, you should either A, have a country SIM card, or B, have an international plan in that country. But of course I had neither, and I felt very nervous. I felt very scared because at this point I had no one to talk to, no one to call, no one to help me out at all. But thankfully, like I said before, there was a lot of English in the Shanghai airport, and I could see where there was currency exchange and SIM cards. So with the money I had, I went to the currency exchange, exchanged my money, and I went to the Chinese SIM cards. I got my SIM card, they did it for me, and even though I found later I was overcharged because I was at an airport, I was so relieved that I had service again and I could finally reach my contact. So I finally was able to reach out to my contact. And he was very nice and happy that I was there, welcomed me to China, so happy to have me a part of the team. And I was finally able to reach him. Then, he told me the rest I had to do, which was pick up my stuff and find the driver. And thankfully with all the English signs, I was able to find my stuff. Then then it was time to look for the driver. And I remember when I was looking for the driver, it was very scary because I saw a sea of people and I saw a sea of signs. And I saw Chinese signs, English signs, French signs. But thankfully, I did see my name. And I was so excited to finally see my driver, and because it means I was one step closer that my journey was almost over. And I said hello and tried to greet him, but he did not understand what I was saying, and he didn't understand what I was saying. And that's when it really first hit me that I'm in another country. Then he called my contact and told him that he got me, and things that driver would say. Then Johnny translated what was going on and told me what to expect next. Then the driver gave me a lot of hand gestures to lead me to the car, and that once I went into his car, that's when it really hit me. I was in a new country. So I finally was in the car to go to my destination in China, and I was trying to sleep, but I was so scared and nervous that I couldn't bring myself to sleep. Also at that time I was trying to message my friends to get my mind off of things, but at that time, I had no way to reach out to my friends, and I couldn't even let them know that I was okay or fine. I couldn't talk to my friends, I couldn't talk to my family. I was at that moment very alone, and then with the taxi driver, I really couldn't ask him for any help because we could not communicate because I didn't speak Chinese and he didn't speak English. And more when I was going to our destination for those 2.5 hours, I was getting more and more scared. I was feeling more alone, and I kept asking myself this question the entire time: Clyde, what are you doing? Finally, after 2.5 hours, we finally made it to my destination. And then I met my contact and the direct supervisor of the company I'd be working for at the time. And you know, standard fare, they welcomed me to China. They said, welcome to this apartment complex. And they helped me with my stuff, and they took it to where I'd be staying for the next 3 years. And then they answered questions I had. My question at that time was, how can I reach out to my family and friends? And they gave me good advice on how I could reach them, and also, as well as many other things I could do to make my stay in China more comfortable. And then I remember taking one big group selfie with them, but then it was time for them to go. And then when they left, all the feelings I had on the drive intensified. My fears, how scared I was, not knowing what I was doing. I mean, I was coming to the realization I really had no one I could ask questions, or did I really have any real money to actually at the time go back home. And I just, at that moment, I really didn't know what to do, and I was trying my best not to, but in the inside I was freaking out. But when I went to bed, I had no idea that this was going to be the start of possibly the best 3 years of my life. Thank you for seeing this whole video. This is once again been Talking with Clyde, and I just told you about my very first day in China. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or you want to comment, please leave a comment below. On this side, you will see my social media outlets, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.